Marcos Aguilar, the principal and founder of the Academia Semillas del Pueblo School, and Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa are both former members of the UCLA chapter of MEChA. MEChA was founded for the sole purpose of radicalizing young Latino students with a hatred for America, Chicano pride, and separatism. Returning the American Southwest to Mexico was the stated goal in the late 60s when MEChA was founded, but today they seek nothing less than control of the United States either by ballot box or by armed revolution. While Antonio Villaraigosa was president of the UCLA chapter of MEChA, he engineered the removal of the director of the Chicano Study Center. Antonio claimed the director was trying to alter the concept behind Chicano studies by refusing to include the communist Chicano group National Committee to Free Los Tres. Antonio demanded communist inclusion within UCLA's Chicano Study Center. In 1993, as a member of MEChA, Marcos Aguilar, along with other Chicano radicals, trashed the faculty center, causing $50,000 in damage. Marcos and 9 other students then went on a 2-week hunger strike demanding that Chicano Studies program be given departmental status. They sought the creation of a Chicano Studies major at UCLA, and eventually the school chancellor gave in.
When I was a high school teacher at Garfield High School, one of the largest high schools in the United States, most of the Mexican children there had lost a sense of identity because its own administration and the general policy of the Los Angeles Unified School District is in fact to Americanize Mexican and African American children in Los Angeles. And they would argue that that's good. I believe that that's not good.
Today, Marcos Aguilar runs his own charter school for grades K through 8. The school is funded by state taxpayers and the National Council of La Raza, or the race. Most of the students are children of illegal aliens. They are taught Chicano pride, Aztec mythology, and Aztec math. The school teaches primarily in Spanish, but it also teaches Mandarin and the ancient native language Nahua, which is now used by members of the Mexican Mafia.
Nowhere in the Constitution of the United States or in the Declaration of Independence does it say that because you come here, you have to now become an American.
English, math, and American history take a back seat to Danza Azteca, a traditional form of Aztec Indian dance. This is Marcos Aguilar beating the drum on July 4th, 1996. Americans had gathered to celebrate Independence Day and rally against illegal immigration. Marcos Aguilar was there along with other Chicano radicals in protest.
And we claim this land is ours, it's always been ours, and we're still here. And none of this talk about deporting. If anybody's going to be deported, it's going to be you.
American citizens were brutally attacked by illegal aliens and communist Chicano radicals.
When the officers departed, then all hell broke loose.
This is what they do to American citizens. They destroy us, they hurt us.
They just hate America and anything America stands for.
The United States is who is the immigrant here, not us.
Marcos' school earned the lowest possible scores on the statewide Academic Performance Index, meriting a 1 on a scale of 10.
Go back to the Plymouth Rock!
It also ranked the lowest out of all charter schools in the Los Angeles Unified School District.
They may not score the highest on API tests, but the success there is that they didn't commit suicide and that they graduated from high school.
The people, united, will never be defeated!
If not committing suicide is a measure of success for Marcos Aguilar, then he must be extremely proud of Juan Alvarez, seen here dancing beside him. Marcos Aguilar taught at Garfield High School, where he met Juan Alvarez. This is a yearbook photo of Aguilar in the Danza Azteca group that he founded. On the opposite page is Juan Alvarez in the MEChA Club. In January of 2005, Juan Alvarez parked his Jeep Grand Cherokee on the Metrolink railroad tracks in Glendale, California. He then stood by as an approaching passenger train smashed into it. The train derailed into another train traveling in the opposite direction. 11 people were killed and nearly 200 were injured. After the crash, Alvarez raised his arms into the air and fell to his knees. He then fled the scene and visited a friend from the Danza Azteca dance group. He poked himself in the arms and chest with a pair of scissors, which at first had some believing that he had tried to commit suicide on the tracks. But the wounds were only superficial, and eyewitness accounts along with evidence at the scene pointed out that Alvarez had doused the interior and exterior of the vehicle in gasoline. He was hoping that the vehicle would explode on impact. If Alvarez wasn't trying to commit suicide, why did he leave his SUV on the tracks? And why did he poke himself with scissors enough to bleed but not enough to cause serious injury? One explanation was that he was trying to get the attention of his ex-wife. Of course, he could have just bought her flowers if that was his intention. It is reported that Juan Alvarez often dressed as an Indian in his everyday life, much the way Marcos Aguilar does. Perhaps a better explanation of why Juan Alvarez murdered 11 innocent people is because he took his Aztec beliefs to the extreme. In ancient Aztec society, human sacrifice and bloodletting are the primary forms of ritual. The gods sacrificed themselves to create the world and sun, and they offered their own blood to create people. Humankind owed a tremendous debt to the gods, and this debt could only be discharged through frequent offerings of human blood. The Aztecs accomplished this duty through human sacrifice and bloodletting. They would cut themselves until they bled. In 2006, KABC reporter Sandy Wells was assaulted when he tried to interview Marcos Aguilar. Marcos refused to speak with him, and as the reporter walked back to his car, he was nearly run down by a vehicle that drove up onto the sidewalk. He was tackled to the ground by the driver, and the audio tape was stolen from his voice recorder. When news of the assault hit the mainstream press, the school became notorious. Its unusual teaching practices and failing test scores were impossible to defend, but Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa issued a statement. He supported the school and its teaching philosophy. Even though it focused on Chicano pride, a hatred for America, and racial separatism, he said it was protected by the First Amendment right of free speech.